Let's jump right into this explainer. We are looking at the cosmos, from mystery to meaning. We're going on an absolute trip today, from the pop culture frenzy around aliens to the literal nuts and bolts mechanics of the universe, all the way down to the actual meaning of life. We're using insights from astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I promise you, this is going to completely challenge how you see your place in the universe.
So look at this scientifically defensible quote from former President Barack Obama. Now this perfectly sets the stage for today's frenzy over UFO whistleblowers. When he said this, pop culture immediately spun it into government conspiracies and, aliens locked in a basement somewhere. But as a scientifically literate guy, he was literally just stating a mathematical probability. When high-ranking military and intelligence whistleblowers go before Congress under oath, well, you can't just brush that off as some farmer seeing lights in the sky anymore.
To really put that mathematical probability into perspective, just look at this number, 6,000. That is the sheer volume of exoplanets, planets orbiting other stars, that we've discovered in our tiny cosmic neighborhood just since 1995. 6,000. And that's in just a tiny, tiny fraction of our Milky Way galaxy. So mathematically validating extraterrestrial life, it's not just sci-fi. Given how fast life got going here on Earth, the vast age of the universe, and the sheer number of planets out there, it is highly, highly defensible that intelligent life exists.
Moving on to Section 1, the search for aliens and checking our ego.
Okay, so when we picture intelligent alien life, we have this massive bias shaped by Hollywood, right? We just assume they're going to be humanoids in rubber suits. We love to think of ourselves as the absolute apex of intelligence. But hey, if an alien arrived looking for the biggest brains on Earth to talk to, we wouldn't even make the top 3. We'd be 4th on their list, right behind whales, dolphins, and elephants. Sure, we try to perform this math magic by measuring brain-to-body weight ratios to put humans back on top, but even then, certain birds actually beat us. It's a massive exercise in ego-stoking to just assume an advanced alien civilization would view us as the pinnacle of Earth's intelligence.
We really have to let go of these humanoid assumptions. Just imagine this scenario for a second. An alien lands in the median of the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. They look around, they see these metal cars moving fast, being carried by bigger trucks when they break down, stopping at little drive-through windows to be fed fuel. An alien might logically look at Earth and assume the automobile is the dominant life form. And humans, we're just the squishy parasitic centers living inside them. We are constantly projecting our own human assumptions onto the total unknown.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Wild West of space, an unregulated frontier.
Let's bring things back to our own crowded orbit. Human ambition is currently launching thousands of objects into space. We're looking at projections of over 100,000 active satellites by 2040. And let's be real, this expansion isn't purely about science and exploration. Take a look at the motivations for the Moon. Science versus geopolitics? Don't delude yourself into thinking the new Artemis Moon missions are just for research. They are overwhelmingly driven by geopolitical egos and direct competition with China. If China says they're going to the moon, well, suddenly the US decides it desperately needs to go back too. Space law right now, it is virtually non-existent. It's totally the Wild West. Who owns the moon? Who owns the minerals on an asteroid? Right now, the unwritten rule is literally just whoever gets there first.
So the real danger of this crazy unregulated space race is something called the Kessler Syndrome. Keep in mind, objects in orbit are traveling at blistering speeds. We're talking around 17,500 miles per hour. At that speed, a single fleck of paint acts like a live grenade. It could completely shatter a satellite. And if that shrapnel hits another satellite, and then another, it triggers a catastrophic chain reaction. We're talking about a scenario that could literally wipe out all low Earth orbital technology. Just gone.
Here is Section 3, the limits of our knowledge, and it's a humbling reality.
As we leave Earth's orbit and gaze deeper into the cosmos, we are forced to confront just how little we actually understand. Check out this breakdown. It is absolutely mind-blowing that all the biology, chemistry, and astrophysics we know and love, literally everything that makes up you, me, the planets, the stars, makes up a mere 5% of the actual universe. The other 95%? It's driven by mysterious forces we just label as dark matter and dark energy.
And honestly, calling them dark implies we somehow know what they are, which we absolutely do not. We should really just call these massive, unknown cosmic forces Fred and Wilma, just to highlight our own scientific ignorance. Look, dark energy is basically a pressure in the vacuum of space that's accelerating the universe's expansion, and dark matter is this unseen source of gravity. But beyond that, they are total mysteries hanging out at the very frontier of our knowledge.
And you know, our scientific blinders extend to scale too. You literally can't scale physics. The laws of physics manifest completely differently depending on your size. Think of the movie A Bug's Life. A mosquito goes into an insect bar, orders a Bloody Mary, and it's served as a perfect bead of liquid. Why? Because at the tiny scale of an insect, surface tension is a vastly more powerful force than gravity. You can't just scale up our own human everyday experiences, like drinking water from a glass, to understand the micro or macro universe. It just doesn't work that way.
All right, Section 4. Inside a black hole, where physics reaches its absolute breaking point.
Okay, strap in, because we are heading to the absolute edge of known physics. To understand a black hole, you first have to understand the event horizon. This is the threshold around a black hole where the escape velocity actually becomes greater than the speed of light. Once you cross this terrifying boundary, space and time literally fold back on themselves. If you could somehow survive the descent, time dilation would kick in. As time ticks way more slowly for you relative to the outside world, you would look out and literally see the entire future history of the universe unfold before your eyes, just like a fast-forwarded movie.
But spoiler alert, you wouldn't survive because of a seriously gruesome process known as spaghettification. Here's how it goes. As you descend past the event horizon, your feet are closer to the black hole's center than your head. So the difference in gravity, these tidal forces, becomes immense. It will stretch you, and eventually you snap right in half at the base of your spine. Then those pieces snap into 4, then 8, then 16 pieces, bifurcating all the way down until you are literally extruded like toothpaste into the infinite density of the singularity. Yikes. Moving right along to Section 5. Are we a simulation? Let's talk about exponential tech growth.
So having survived our theoretical journey into a black hole, let's tackle an even more terrifying question. Are we living in a base reality, or are we just a digital simulation created by an advanced civilization? Think about it. If simulated universes can eventually build computers to just create more simulated universes infinitely, tossing a dart at that massive family tree means we're almost certainly a simulation. Statistically, we'd just be one of a billion simulated realities created by some alien kid in their basement. But wait, there is one crucial caveat here that builds our defense for being in base reality. Because we humans do not yet have the computing power to create a simulated universe with free will, it means we are absolutely not a middle branch in that massive simulation family tree. Therefore, we are either the authentic, very first starter universe, or we're the very last one in the chain that just hasn't leveled up yet. That vastly improves the odds, bringing it down to about a 50-50 shot that our reality is, in fact, totally real.
And finally, Section 6, the meaning of life, finding purpose.
After exploring all these vast unknowns, spaghettification, and simulation theories, it is incredibly easy to feel small and insignificant. But listen, you should never feel insignificant when looking at the night sky, because you are physically connected to the cosmos. You are made of exploded stars. The elements that course through your blood right now, the iron, the carbon, the oxygen, were forged in the explosive deaths of ancient stars. And practically speaking, you are solar-powered. Think about it. If you eat a steak, that cow ate grass, and that grass processed sunlight. A cow is essentially just a biological machine that turns grass into steak, meaning every single calorie you consume traces directly back to a star. The universe is literally alive within you.
So how do we actually find meaning in all this cosmic chaos? Well, you don't find meaning hiding under a rock. You create it yourself. And it really comes down to a simple two-step formula. First, learn something new every day to grow your awareness and your wisdom. Second, consciously act to lessen the suffering of others. Pass favors forward to strangers. This is, for sure, the ultimate way to bring joy to yourself and actively improve the world around you.
I want to leave you with this absolutely beautiful, provocative quote from 19th century educator Horace Mann to take into your everyday life. Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. So what victory will you win for humanity before your time in this incredible, bizarre, and beautiful universe is up? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it expanded your curiosity today.